The good thing is that the functionality is already in place to have human in the loop to confirm some action or undo an action and guide the agent towards certain outcome, which is quite cool. Today we will start designing our system for the front-end design of the solution. We'll do a few screens mockups in Claude Design, and we'll have a lot more fun in than compared to the last couple of videos. So let me move to my screen and we'll start from there. So briefly, I'm in Claude Design, something that probably you're familiar with. I will start with no design system at all, and I will attach some assets. So these are briefing and design components that we expect with some background that I chose already some colors and kind of files and what I want to do. And I can just say this is AgentQuilt design system project. I will keep Fable, and for now I will keep with high effort. Probably max is too much. It's not helping, I believe. So I'll click create and let's see where it will go. So what we have there really is we have a few logos and a textual representation. And then I have some design briefing and components. Claude Design came back with an interesting and a nice response. Something that I forgot is that I requested to be able to present Cyrillic in terms, and there is some connection of AgentQuilt of the logo with kind of Bulgaria, but I will leave that for a separate moment. If you're really interested, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, so the next thing we should do is, I'm happy with how it's formed. So that's our design system, or actually this is the different components, and I will say yes, go ahead, and it will create a design system now. So while it's doing the design system at the moment based on the to-do list, which looks quite interesting, I'm quite impressed. I just wanted to say a bit about the screen 1, 2, and 3, and 4, because they have been put already as to-do list. So we have the personal chat thread, again, ChatGPT style. Conversation is a key one. So this is where we will have different surfaces like WhatsApp, Telegram, Viber. That's something that is quite widespread in Eastern Europe and the web. So these will be the conversations which we'll be able to engage with kind of end customers or users. So client-facing agents. Then we'll have the CRM, which will be about leads and records of sales, and then admin, where we will maintain some settings for models and etc. So these will be the 4 screens, but there will be a lot of sub-screens and bits and pieces that we'll need to do that will shape how the solution will look like and how we will interact with it. That will be just obviously the start, but it will look quite interesting once we are ready with it. So let's see what is happening, where we are with at the moment. The agents came back with 12 primitives. They look all right for the most part. I'm happy with those. This one, it didn't kind of going backwards indentation, I'm not happy about. I can do a screenshot quickly and save it, but however, I'm missing also some other components, and I will speak about those. Can you please have a look at the screenshot? I don't necessarily like the indentation of the CR, I like it highlighted. However, we are also missing some other components, and quite typically we'll have something like a record list or summary view of some records in a table, with search functions, sorting, filtering, something that is good for a CRM module, for maybe accounting in the future, for knowledge hub and etc. Then we need to have record detail in some kind of a card format with field groups and depending on the module, creating invoice or linked conversations or CRM lead or opportunity and so on. Then there are some other ideas such as identity marker, capability grant, and binding row for sure. Typically, we'll need all our search boxes to be autocomplete as well. And here I'm happy for you, based on your knowledge, to suggest any other components that we may need to create. There will be some Kanban views, for example, that will be used across the board, and some other areas that we will need. Maybe something like a spreadsheet style tables may also be necessary, although that may be an overkill at the moment, so I may park for it. But there are some more necessary components that we will need as reusable components. So that was my brain dump. As you can see, there was some repetition, but we'll wait for the Claude design to see where it will land. At the moment, the direction is good. Claude Code came back, and there are some really interesting designs. Again, we need to be mindful that Claude design, quite a lot of it will be non-unique, let's say, barring your color selection. We need to accept that. It will look good, and later we can always change it. So I like the autocomplete card filters as well. We have ability for empty. We have some pop-ups, approve and rejection inbox rows. This is like a record table, summary view. That's a record detail or a card view. We have Kanban or board view here and so on. If we consider a modern business solution, or also known as ERP solution, what other component types we'll need to cover, let's say, more than 90% of the interface? Let's ask that. Claude came back with an interesting response, which is worth going through. So form controls is probably the biggest gap, and I will ask those. So selection, multi-select, single select, date pickers, quite important. Numbers, currency fields, checkboxes, radio buttons and toggles, and tag inputs. Table extensions as well. So row selection and bulk actions bar, that is quite important actually. Inline cells edit, group rows, and so on. We have documents, different documents. Probably we can leave that for later time and overview. So it came back to me saying, want me to draw up form controls and set. I wonder whether I can mark it. I cannot. I will just say, go ahead and draw the form controls and the table extensions. We can come back later with documents, time, overview, and some other bits and pieces from this list. Claude came back with the form controls and the record table extended. We have ability to multi-select, do some actions. That's something I like. We have some date pickers, checkboxes, toggles. That looks good, quite good to me. So I'm happy with all that, and we will carry on. So with this, I can see that Claude at the moment is refining something on the design. There was some problem with the currency and number field, which we are fine with. Continue with screen 1. So screen 1 is our personal chat thread. Again, similar to what ChatGPT will look like. So let's see what this will be, and then we'll check in a moment when it's ready. Claude came back, and it looks really nice. Don't get me wrong, but there is something missing here. So this is the desktop view, and that's the mobile view, which is quite nice. However, I would expect somewhere to have threads, not only just a single thread. You should have different kind of threads the same way you'll do Claude Code or any other one of these tools. So let's ask it. At the moment, something that is missing is the threads option. So we should have ability to work on multiple different threads or topics at the same time. At the moment with home, we only have one, which just doesn't work. And that one, these threads should be able to be pinned. So there should be pin functionality, and obviously sorted by the most recent message or that you had, the most recent update. I will send this for some refinements, and then we will look at it again. Claude came back. We have the threads. I'm not a big fan of this started thread and this kind of explanation, not to mention about this. But overall, it looks clean and nice. Something is being refined as we speak. And we have the mobile one. I can sense that once you click backwards, you'll see the threads. So that should do for me. And I think I'm happy with this for a start. And then I will tell it to go. Let's go to screen 2. The agent came back. We have conversations with essentially different channels. So to say Telegram, WhatsApp, the web chat, Viber, and so on. I like it. It is similar to the other page in my mind. And the good thing is here is that the functionality is already in place to have human in the loop to confirm some action or undo an action and guide the agent towards certain outcome, which is quite cool. So the agents will be able to be, how to say, autonomous for the most part, but there can be some actions where a user can come back and just make a decision, which is what we really want. Screen 3 is about CRM from my understanding, and it will need to have a lot more subscreens. And let's see where we will go. We can keep it simple for now until we start growing it. We need something to work on and the agent to start building backend for it. Claude Design came back with CRM, leads and customers. It is relatively simple, but at this stage, I will keep it that way. Ultimately, we will start with MVP, and this, I think we can work with that. Later, we can ask for more. For now, let's go and say, do screen 4, please. As I said, please is not really something we need, but I just do it anyway. The agent came back, and this is more of a game design system rather than an end state, and this is just the agent, but I'm being picky here. So first, I don't like the save button being down there. I would probably keep it here at the top right corner. I don't remember what was on the previous screens, but probably it's something that we need to reconsider. And I will tell the agent to make sure that's the case. I would prefer save, cancel, kind of the change between edit and read to be always at the top corner, so there is consistent interface. What I'm also not liking here is that You have this may do on its own, ask first and never. Technically, I don't know exactly how this will be achieved. Typically, you set tools, and these tools will have read and write access. And you can limit the agent based on that. So obviously, you can have also external kind of web fetching and search tools, selection, etc. But kind of these things are a bit odd to be here. And I'll speak to the agent about it. I would prefer that to be always to the top right corner rather than somewhere at the bottom. Otherwise, these three lists may do on its own, asks first and never. I don't think these make sense to be there because these typically will be controlled by tools. The agent responded back. It looks slightly better, but this tool never granted it result. Again, the quirks of agentic development. Also may read, that's part of the tools as well. Again, all these things we'll be able to polish in the main development stage. This is more of a sketching up our front end, what we will start working on. And yeah, I think with that, we will conclude this video. This will be our starting UX for Envy. And then, yeah, in the next video, we will get into Claude Code, setting up these parameters and carry on really. Now I'll just say prep the screens for Claude Code handoff. Claude came back with design handoff, which is just a zip file with information and a README that we are going to look at in the next video. This is where we will set the project and start putting it to life, and it looks quite exciting nonetheless. Subscribe and comment of what you want to see next.